Baby, gotta go upstairs.
Yeah.
I know you want me, but I gotta do podcast. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Ah.
Nice Arnold Palmer jug. How many sittings did it take you to finish that?
Like 2. No. Like, I
Proud
don't
of
know. I have a fridge. I just toss it in the fridge.
Yeah.
Probably like several days. I don't know. No, it's not a consistent rate.
Yeah. So is your shop and your office kind of all the same space?
Yeah, like we actually have another room that is an office that's got like another area for me and like a second
Yeah.
computer like for Catherine. And
Yeah.
that's where it was set up originally, but then I ended up spending way more time in the workshop and having to go back and forth to like
Mm-hmm.
check references or whatever. And then I
Yeah.
started needing the computer as a tool in the shop, for running different
Yeah.
computers.
I guess you're not creating a ton of dust either, like other shops.
Not typically, yeah.
Yeah.
And after working at Best Buy for a long time, I realized how much dust it actually a computer can handle and still run okay.
Yeah.
It's more than you think.
Did you do Geek Squad repairs or something?
Yeah, I was there before Geek Squad existed, and then through that branding, and I left when it was Geek Squad. So that was fun.
Did you drive the bugs around
No.
when they had those?
Thankfully, no.
You weren't doing home theater installs?
No, that wasn't part of the job then.
Hmm.
They since expanded that to like they had other people at Best Buy doing that, but it wasn't under the
Yeah.
Geek Squad umbrella, I guess you could say.
Right. So
Thankfully.
is your shop a garage where you are?
It's a basement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I
You
got
got
really
tall
high
ceilings.
ceilings. Yeah, they're really tall.
That's cool. We had a house like that growing up, like 10-foot basement ceilings. It was wild.
Yeah, I think they're even higher than that. Let's see. Yeah.
I never would have guessed you were in a basement.
No?
I remember trying to figure it out though, because like I'm seeing videos. I'm like, there's joists up there with insulation.
Right?
Why are you measuring your ceiling?
Yeah.
That's impressive that it's not falling.
Yeah, it is 10 foot.
My current basement, I hit my head if I go down the stairs wrong. So
You're also like 6'4".
yeah,
Yeah.
because Bob and Josh would say like 20 feet tall. They're just jealous.
the joke in the training video that you guys did was fantastic.
That was fun. I was still standing on a stool even though I am tall. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was one of my first edits at I Like to Make Stuff, that video.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't really editing much then. I mean, I was pretty new. That was April of 2019, so I had just started that.
Gorby is
January.
generally the editor, right? Or was?
He still is, yeah. But as of lately, we've been more. We can talk about this once we're actually recording. But yeah, we'll pick that up here in a little bit.
Wes from Once Upon a Workbench and Donovan from Geeksmithing. I thank you for the moniker.
Oh, whoops. I did that last week
What's
too.
happening?
I'm moving up in the world.
It's because each person keeps changing spots because it's based on like where they are on the screen, and so
I'm not looking at the stream, so.
I'm like half off camera too. Need to move over.
you're
There
good
we go.
there.
I'm afraid to pull it up. I'll hear myself. Oh, nice. We got the Lego theme going on there. Is that Sean?
Yeah,
Nice.
plastic leg.
That's a
works.
fun template you got going on. I like that.
Thanks.
He on certain occasions he will theme the overlay with whatever topic we're talking about it during that particular episode. But this I think would definitely is considered our default
Nice.
Yeah.
How long have you been using
default
this one?
overlay.
I haven't
Off and on
watched
for a
the
couple
stream
years.
in a long time.
Yeah, we used to have
Must
another
missed
one.
this one before.
We used to have another one that was like stacks of TVs, like old analog, like CRT kind of TVs, and some of
Nice,
them were
that's fun.
staticky, and some of them, just our faces individually.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you trying to test your light there, Donovan?
Reduce the glare off my big old forehead.
This is my lighting. I got a lamp. This is my professional streaming setup. Do you like it?
Yeah. Mood lighting.
There we go.
Nice.
There's our kicker right there. The neighbors across the street are probably, is he trying to send us a signal? He's a police officer, so he's probably going to come knocking on my door, making sure I'm not, in any danger.
You're recording like one of those Middle Eastern videos with the bright light.
Oh, it's terrible.
It is.
Oh, Wes.
Ugh. I wasn't the one that laughed though.
Yeah.
I guess we get started.
On that note.
On that note, I mean,
we'll cut that part
we
out.
can only go up from here.
Well, let me sniffle real quick. Okay.
Get them all out. We're in, I guess.
Should probably get them out.
Yeah.
I will have to mute and blow my nose at some point. Just be warned. Oh no, that was the last issue.
You want to do the intro this time, Donovan?
See.
I heard him say C.
We'll just go ahead.
I really need to get like a, I don't know,
Hold on.
not messy background when
Let me try to get the boogers out of my mustache. You can still see me even though I'm trying to lean out of the shot. Oh, wait, you probably can't see me on YouTube, though.
Nope.
There
We did it.
Yeah, because your box on YouTube is
Perfect.
only like.
So if I do this and I blow my nose, no one will see me. They'll just see Florida.
That's right. You want to do the intro tonight, Donovan?
Sure. What should the intro be? I was playing King's Quest today, which is a point and click adventure game, and they have these the real time events RTEs where it's like press X to not die. So I could do something like that, like press X to not die, press start to listen to the Making Geeks podcast from makers, dads, and geeks, or not dads, families and geeks.
We're
Ooh.
more inclusive now after this
Ooh.
year.
Who got mad at you?
Nobody, but we realized that
Nobody.
we the
we're
one
about to get
female
canceled.
that listens to our podcast, being Nicole, that she's basically
One
Nicole.
female. There's more than one female that listen to this podcast.
Who else?
Well, my mom for one.
Okay.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
So yeah, okay.
Yep.
I am ready when you guys are ready.
I'm good, go.
All right.
I think I'm good. Yep.
Tell me
I got it
Hakaloogie.
in.
Hold on. Let me check my audio for one last thing here.
We're notoriously
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
I'm checking my levels. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
We're notoriously prepared. Yes. Yes, we are.
Yes, we're notoriously prepared in all things. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Press X to not die, and press start to listen to the Making Geeks podcast, the podcast for makers, for families, and for geeks. Welcome to episode. I should have known what episode we're on. Episode 200 and
Keep going.
help
200.
help me out. 227.
There you go.
227 of the Making Geeks podcast, and tonight is awesome because we have a special guest,
We do.
Anthony. How do you like to be known or called?
Anthony?
That
works.
I mean, like a full name kind of thing, like Anthony Film
Anthony
Stuff.
Rose is fine, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Anthony Film Stuff is my Instagram account handle. So
Works for me.
you can go follow me. It's shameless self-promotion right off the bat. This is awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're all about it.
there's
Yeah.
probably going to be a lot of that tonight. Yeah. So we are joined by Anthony, who is the videographer, editor, and all-around tall guy in the I Like to Make Stuff group. Yeah, we're gonna talk about all things Anthony tonight.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay! We
But
basically
before we
told them
do
what
that,
to do.
we usually start out by what we've been working on, trying to get an update for what's been going on in our lives. So, what have you guys been working on?
Should I go first?
Go
Am I
for
allowed
it.
to go first. All right.
Sure.
I mean, if anybody has followed me on the Instagrams, they will know that I've been renovating my house. Been doing that since about, I don't know, November. We bought this house in October of last year and have just gone gung-ho on this place. It was very much covered in wood paneling everywhere. So we've knocked down some walls, put up some beams, slapped on some paint. This paint just went on a few days ago, which is great. But the big thing lately, we've been remodeling a bathroom on top of all this other stuff, which is super exciting stuff. I learned a lot of plumbing, and what else did I learn? Mostly plumbing, which was surprisingly fun. If you have a plumbing project, don't be scared of it. I ended up really enjoying it. But other than that, I mean, we're starting to get to the end of the tunnel here as far as this main floor goes. There's no more wood paneling. Floor plan is nice and open. I think the next big step is to tile that bathroom, get that finished, and then we're going to build some kitchen cabinets. And I asked Bob to help me with those, but he's kind of done and over kitchens at this point for good reason.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been quite a journey here. But it's cool to have our own place. This is our first, like, we own this house, so we've been able to just make it ours, which is super fun.
That is cool.
That's what I've been working on. That and, squeezing in some CNC projects here and there. I just got a 1Infinity last week and a half ago. And it's just been kind of playing around. We've got a whole bunch of roughs on cherry that Bob, Josh, and I went in on together at an auction. And that's been the majority of the material I've been using, making small signs and goofy little things here and there.
It's just so easy to work with. It's really like every time I've used
Yeah.
cherry and everything, it's like my favorite wood.
And it doesn't smell terrible. We were
Right.
working with some oak today at work. Oh gosh, it smells like a butt when you mill or cut that stuff. It's awful. So
Huh.
cherry, while it's not like aromatic like cedar or pine, it's still got a nice, pleasant smell to it. So yeah, it's been fun. I really like that 1Infinity machine.
Did
I
you
have an
get
X-Carve.
the hobby version or the woodworker version?
It's the woodworker, the woodworker
Yes.
version. So it's got the 32 by 32 work area. It's a monster of a machine, especially for the price of what one costs. Like it does a lot. Josh and I are doing the X-Carve versus the 1Infinity comparison on Instagram here before too long, because I also have an upgraded X-Carve that used to be Josh's. And we're gonna do like a Instagram kind of CNC off, I guess. And I think the 1Infinity is gonna beat the X-Carve pretty good, but I'm actually pretty impressed by the upgrade kit that's on the X-Carve. So who knows? CNCs are a lot of fun. It's new territory for me, but really enjoying it. If you like robots and you like to make them do work for you,
Yes.
it's a good place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with as accessible as they're becoming these days. So
You're
yeah,
gonna give it a name?
probably. I haven't gotten that far yet. I've been a little distracted. I got to figure out the theme. So like my home network has kind of a theme. It's Ready Player One themed. So, I'm not going to give away SSID information or anything, but various devices are named from things from that universe.
Yeah.
So, it's fun.
Pretty
I
fun.
was very much into the first book when I set up my network. So it'll probably be something around that.
That's cool. Look forward to
We'll see.
seeing the CNC off. That should be
Yeah.
pretty neat.
I'm excited to see the results. I really like both of those companies, so we're not doing it to, shame one or the other or talk down about one or the other, because they're different machines for different peoples and different budgets, and
Yep.
it'd be cool to help people decide on which one they want to get. What about you guys?
To us?
I think I mentioned this last week. I've been continuing my cribbage board creation little project. So a next door neighbor, a friend of hers, needed some custom cribbage boards, and I needed an excuse to get back into CNC. Let's go back to CNC discussion.
Nice.
Because I had started creating some for her last year, right before, like literally right before the pandemic, and I bought the materials, and it was more of an excuse for me to use the CNC more consistently back then, and then all that stuff happened, and I didn't actually end up creating the things, so it just sat, like the test piece that I clamped into the CNC sat in the exact same spot since the pandemic started up until like a week ago. So that's how infrequently I use the thing, and I like it. It's just I have so many other distractions and tools and you know, robots that take a lot more of my like concentrated attention, and that machine specifically, just the workflow, I have to give it more attention than some other processes that I'm, you know, more familiar with. And so every time I use it, it feels like I'm using it for the first time again. Like trying to remember, oh, you got to do this and that. And it's a hand-me-down like Franken X-Carve that it uses, you know, a third-party control board, and I've got like a laser module strapped to it that I got from Banggood for like $80 or something. That will like, it's like a Retina Smelter 6000 or whatever.
Is that really what it's called? Because that's awesome.
It might as well be, because that thing is friggin' dangerous. I lock my door to my shop so that people don't come in inadvertently, because those diode lasers on there are not friendly if you don't have any glasses on. So, so I've been doing that. I've been continuing that. The current thing I'm trying to do now is kind of hollow out a void or a cavity on the underside to store, I guess, the pegs for cribbage, which I don't play. So I'm having to like look up the dimensions of like the more common pegs and make sure they fit in there and come up with a mechanism to have it hidden. So I bought some little pieces of metal that I'm holding up here to the camera. Actually, I need to sand the little scale stuff or whatever it is that's on the metal when I ordered it. But it's basically going to be really shiny, and I'm going to have like a neodymium magnet mounted in the bottom of the board, and have like a little cavity for the pegs and for this to sit, you know, flush, you know, right side or upside down, and then have it where you can just push one end of it, and the cavity is such that it's like on a little teeter totter, and it like releases the magnet side, so it just like drops in. Hopefully, it looks like it'll work. We'll see. And yeah, that's
Cribbage, the one that's like a horse track.
Yeah, there's different designs. Yeah, it's just a bunch of little holes. I guess it's for scoring. I've never actually played the game, to be honest. Even though, according to Destin from Smart Everyday, like it seems like all the Navy plays cribbage, according to his sub thing, which is not accurate, at least from my experience. Maybe the submarine community played them, which I was not on a sub. We would just play spades because it's less pieces to keep up with and stuff. So, or Egyptian rat screw, if you guys ever played that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. That some epic moments for that. Yeah.
I feel like I've seen a lot of cribbage boards lately. I follow a handful of CNC hashtags. They either are pretty common or just popular right now, or
I
just
guess.
kind of an easy CNC
know.
project.
Yeah, they're easy. Yeah.
And some really cool ones with, you know, resin and hardwoods and things like that.
Cribbage is the new charcuterie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has like a lot of elements that like cutting boards and stuff would use too. You could do like inlays, or, you know.
But they're more fun than cutting boards.
They are.
I have two nice wooden cutting boards, and I've never used them because I don't want to get like
right.
meat juice permanently stuck inside the grain of the wood.
The other thing I want to try to do as far as custom cribbage boards, I want to do some like relief carving or something, like of some creatures or something, some design.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, besides that, I've just been plugging along. So, Anthony, you might not have heard, because I haven't really been speaking a lot about it, is that I have a local maker group that I founded a couple years ago, that George from Technically Woodworking and some other people have been like co-running it with me in the area, in like the Raleigh, Durham area of North Carolina. And as of a couple weeks ago, I've been partnering with some other members to actually go through the process of making it a legit like nonprofit and actually like maybe
Oh, nice.
opening a makerspace under the umbrella and actually have like a physical location to meet, which was hard to come by in the past, but also eventually like build it out with, if we have the space hopefully to accommodate this, build it out with actual shop tools and stuff and build a community around it. And I
Cool.
want to integrate and kind of feature some like content creation aspect to it as well. Either the ability to create videos there, maybe like a little set kind of thing, or something where you can do like live streaming from there in like a corner or an office or whatever. And but like design and some elements of the makerspace with that use case in mind. I think that would be kind of cool. And then also be able to leverage like me knowing other makers that we could do maybe kind of like how we did the classes at like Workbench Con, have either a couple of people fly in or drive in, or even local content creators come in and teach something whatever they're most known for online, and to sort of leverage those connections and have an excuse for me to hang out with people that I love hanging out with, that I might not get the opportunity with a lot of times. So I've been messaging a bunch of different people, seeing who would be on board for this kind of idea, and then whatever the class would be, like have like a fee or something that the person would pay to attend the class, like typically Workbench Con would operate, but then having like the actual presenter get like a cut of however whatever percentage, let's say like 50% or 70% of the cost, they would get that as like a payment. So it would be like on the content to creator to be like, hey, like to market it and like, hey, I'm going to be in Raleigh on this date, come see me or whatever, and they can within reason have a certain admission and then get something for it, which I think would be cool. For me I would love to be in a position where I could offer that, and also offer jobs to other makers that would actually want to be like on the staff or something like that. But these are all kind of ethereal plans I'm kind of going through right now. We're just going through the process of doing the nonprofit right now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, things will progress.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
That's really cool. I didn't realize. I knew you had that small group there. I didn't realize you were, kind of growing and expanding into something more, I guess, official is the word I'm looking for. But that's fantastic.
Fingers
Very
crossed.
cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think we're all crossing our fingers. So that's awesome.
What have you been up to, buddy?
My kids went back to school this week, so yeah. I haven't been able to do much of anything aside from taking care of my kids the past month, which is why I haven't like posted on social media or put out a video or anything like that, just because having children is pretty time consuming. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it, but please know that, oh my gosh, like they are the priority for everything, which is fine.
And your kids are young too, so
yeah. Because 7, 9, and 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm excited because today I stepped out into my shop and realized that all the surfaces in my shop are taken. Because I have the Leviathan axe that I've finished carving the handle, I finished carving out the shape of the head, and now I just need to do the inlays of all the designs in the axe head so that I can put in the glow epoxy. But before that, I need to figure out like what surface I'm going to do this on, because like I said, all my surfaces are taken. I got my 1finity CNC, which is now sitting on my my Zelda glow table. I just got my great grandfather's bandsaw and drill press. I inherited those a week ago, and now those take up all of the other, space I would have had allocated to work on. And so now I need to figure out like a workbench for me, because the Zelda table was like my unofficial workbench because it was a little bit higher. I'm not tall like Anthony, but I'm a little bit taller, and so having a higher work surface was always preferable for me. But now that all of my work surfaces are taken up, I'm like, I need to figure out what I want to do for a workbench. And so I've been thinking about like what a once upon a workbench would look like. And I'm kind of in that process of I've got too many ideas to go in too many directions to figure out which one I want which one I want to do. I kind of want to do like a fantasy theme for a workbench, maybe. I don't know. I want
Make
it
it
to
look
be
like
different.
like a big open book, like a storybook.
Yeah, see, like something like that, just something uniquely cool. And I have this gaming table, which I love. This thing is old, it is beat up. I need to like refinish it and maybe make a video out of it. But it's one of those ones where it's a table and you slide it and then you can open it up into like a full-size table. And in the table there's like storage bins and stuff not for, all your pieces and whatnot. I don't know if it was like a poker table or a gaming table, whatever you want to call it, but it's one that it's a transformer table because it can slide and then it can open up to double in size. And I was like, a lot of people work in garages where they have this much space between the wall and the front of their car whenever they park. So having like a full size workbench isn't really an option. But what if you took that concept and you made a workbench that's like this, but that it has like a hinge point in it to where you can slide it out just like my gaming table and then open it up to a full-size workbench. I was like, maybe I could do something with that. So I'm either going to do like a themed table or like a functional expanding workbench, but I haven't decided yet. Like I said, I'm at the point right now where I've got too many ideas going on in my head and I don't know which one to focus on. But other than that, I'm trying to finish up the Leviathan axe before our Maker Faire next weekend because I'm getting ready for that as well, and start work on the God of War tool cabinet, which you guys were talking about cherry. I'm making out of cherry. So now that
Nice.
I have your positive assurance on the experience working with cherry, I'm excited to try that out.
Mm-hmm. The one thing about cherry is it does burn easily. I'm sure you've heard people say that before. You just have to make sure your
I've
tools are
not
sharp.
heard anybody say anything about cherry before, so
I just had a piece of it over here somewhere. It's right over there. I'm looking at it. Yeah, if you push it, you just got to basically keep it moving through your tools consistently and make sure your table saw blade is clean and sharp, and you'll be all right.
well,
I'm gonna grab that piece real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna be carving a lot of it. I'm sure like hammer and chisel for part of it, and then also I've been doing a lot of like Dremel, the Dremel pen. Is it a pen? The hand carver tool that Dremel has. I got one of those and got a bunch of bits for it, which I've been using to carve all of the design for the hilt with this Dremel engraver, which has been really fun. But it creates a lot of dust, and I'd be worried about burning maybe with the Dremel. I don't know. I haven't tried it, but most of it, like I said, most of it is going to be carved, whether by hand or with the Dremel carving tool.
I don't know if the Dremel would burn it that much, especially if you go kind of low and slow with it. I was running cherry through the planer and the joiner today mostly, and none of those burned it at all. The only burning I got was on the miter and the table saw. Like, there's not much on this piece, but you can just see these burn marks are just from a crosscut, a crosscut on the miter saw. Which you can sand them out. It takes a little bit of extra elbow grease, but yeah, I'd say the ones to look out for are really the table saw and the chop saw. But I don't know, experiment on a piece of scrap and see what you get.
Yeah, I found a local supplier that sells rough hewn kiln dried lumber for anywhere between $2 and $5 a board foot, which is better than anything I've found ever.
What species? Just
every species. Like every species.
That's really good.
I'm surprised that he has inventory left because scalping is a really popular thing here in Oklahoma. I don't know if it's elsewhere, but
around
here,
here,
there's a joke in there somewhere with Native Americans, but I'm not gonna.
Okay, I didn't think about that, but it's terrible because people will buy up inventory of like whatever and then quadruple the price and try and sell it on Facebook Marketplace, which I've come to loathe Facebook Marketplace because everything is so expensive. Like more expensive than if you just bought it in the store. But the local supplier that I found, I'm really excited to work with him to get hardwood at a reasonable price. I'm so excited. I'm gonna have to mill it and everything like that, which is fine. My winnings from the Playhouse, the contest that I did on Instructables, got me a planer and a joiner and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm excited to put those to use finally.
That's cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of gratification in taking a rough sawn piece of lumber and making it look pretty. Like I've seen some pretty hopeless looking pieces of wood, and I spent a while, or because we've used a lot of this cherry at work. We have a bunch of it, and been surprised to see what comes out of it. It's fun. It's daunting work, and takes a lot of time, but man, it's gratifying when you get that nice dimensioned piece of lumber
inside.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah,
you gotta.
And the price point is low enough that it's worth the time investment.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, like the time investment, because like I said, I take care of my kids. There's a huge time investment for them, so I don't have a lot of extra time to invest in like doing stuff that I can just have somebody else do if I want to pay for it. And luckily, this is enough. Like I said, it's a low enough price point. And I have the machines now to do it, whereas before I didn't. I even got a bandsaw now. The thing is ancient. It is such an old bandsaw, and I want to like restore it, kind of like Jimmy does with some of his old stuff. But I'm so excited because this is the first time I've ever like had my own bandsaw.
How big is it? Like, can you resaw on it, or is it going to be more for like curve cutting and all that kind of stuff?
I think the clearance height is like 6 inches. I mean, it's not huge.
It's like a bench top.
Yeah, it's like a benchtop bandsaw, but it weighs like 250 pounds. This thing is so heavy. If I ever want to work out, I just go out in my shop and like pick it up and move it from one surface to another.
Nice. Yeah, I love old tools. That's cool.
Edition, or Maker Edition. Yeah, like
there you go.
Maker Edition. Yeah.
Nice. That's really neat. I can't believe you're getting wood. Sorry.
No, go for it.
I can't believe you're getting hardwood that cheap. That's really good pricing.
Yeah.
Like
I should have told everybody because now people are gonna go buy them out.
I'm gonna come and visit for a little bit. I bought some hardwood at auctions and stuff, which seems to work out well. But you're always gambling a little bit on the quality. Yeah. Luckily, we got pretty lucky with all of our cherry here, but we still had to throw away a few chunks that are in pretty bad shape. But
Yeah. It's okay. I just got tired of like people wanting $15 to $25 a board foot for stuff, and it's like,
yeah, nope. You got me rethinking my strategy now.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like the price of wood is going down a little bit, but it's still like $10 for a 2x4 here, and I was like, it's cheaper to make stuff out of like maple than pine right now.
Dang, our 2x4s were like $4 last time I checked.
Really?
Yeah, but I think the East is a little bit different than the West. I hear a lot of the West Coast stuff got diverted out to the East Coast.
Well, I'm not.
You're like West. In the middle, so I don't know.
Midwest.
Yeah. Midwest. Anyway,
West in the
I guess the trade-off is the fact that like we make our own gas, so I pay $2 less a gallon than you do.
There you go. Yeah.
But I pay more for 2x4s than you do, so I guess there's a trade-off there.
Yeah. I wonder how many maker podcasts are talking about lumber prices.
All.
Probably.
Anyway.
I had to rethink like all of my projects once lumber like went down. I mean, not down, but up. It's like the playhouse. I was going to build another playhouse for my brother that was remarkably bigger than the one that I built that we had to say no on because the cost in lumber would have been in the thousands.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not worth it. I can't guarantee that my video will do well enough to compensate for what it's going to take to build this one. But that's all right. I think the projects that I've got in the chute, so to speak, are good enough to make up for it. So Anthony, hi.
Hello, I'm here.
For anybody that doesn't have the great and wonderful fortune of knowing you, who are you?
Wow, that was the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me. No. I am Anthony, and if you know me from the internet, it's because of I Like to Make Stuff. I work with Bob and Josh and Forby over at I Like to Make Stuff, mainly shooting, but my hands are involved all over the place, much like everybody on the team over there. So lately I've been doing a lot more editing. Forby does a lot of our editing, but he also oversees a lot of creative and design. So we have been trading off some responsibility there lately. And it's been awesome. I went to film school, and shooting and editing is kind of my bread and butter. So getting the opportunity to do more editing has been a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. But
Where did
mainly
you go to film school?
I went to Palm Beach Atlantic University in West Palm Beach, Florida. So a small little liberal arts university down there. Our film school was, let's see, how many students were in my program? I don't know. There's probably like 20 of us. It was awesome. I had some classes with like 4 students. It was amazing. But we shot a lot of stuff together. All of our professors were like active in the industry. One of my professors was in New York City recently, editing the American broadcast of the Olympics, which was just like, whoa, okay, yeah, these dudes. It was like a nice reminder of how legit the people I learned from were, which is cool. But before I digress into the history of my film upbringing, yeah, I'm really enjoying editing videos. I like to make stuff, but I'm also getting to make things too. The next project that is going to be coming out in the next week or two, not exactly sure when we're releasing it, is going to be at my house, and that's all I can say right now. But because of that, I got some FaceTime on the camera, and I also got to do some of the making. So lots of time milling lumber and making cuts and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the thing that I like to make stuff is we all do a little bit of everything, which is awesome.
That is.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've noticed
Definitely.
a significant difference.
When you're...
I noticed a significant difference when I think when you got added to the team, the creative team there, like I noticed like little influences of a little more pop culture-y kind of references that I kind of picked up on, because like I know that you and I have talked a lot about like sitcoms that we both enjoy, like Community and Parks and Rec and things, and so I've sort of, at least I think I've noticed things that were more kind of like nods to that kind of style of not seriousness all the time. I don't know, maybe that's just my perception of it, but I like to think I'm picking up on a little bit of it here and there.
I think just the fact that we have 3 of 4B is still remote right now, but having the 3 of us together in a room kind of makes the atmosphere more collaborative and fun, and that naturally kind of comes out in the videos. And we've been wanting to kind of lean into that more too. And 4B's really, really witty and fun, so a lot of times I'll play off of some of his ideas or kind of drop in something new, kind of take a risk here and there, and sometimes it catches. Sometimes I add in really subtle things that very few people catch. It's really fun to do that, and then watch the comments and see who has the keen eye.
Yeah,
like there was a couple of videos ago, the tiniest little spider on a piece of wood that Bob was working on, and it just looked like a dot, and then it moves. So I put some text by it to see if anybody noticed, and I got like 2 or 3 comments saying, "Was that spider talking, or did that move?" Which is kind of fun. Things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been great. We've been having a lot of fun. The flexibility to make and film has been great. Everybody there knows how to operate a camera, and everybody there knows video editing to some extent. So, Bits videos, Josh usually edits those, and he didn't go to film school, which is awesome. But being able to share knowledge back and forth and just have that amount of flexibility. Yeah, it's weird. It's definitely not a normal job. I came from a 9-to-5 office job before this, and it was absolute misery. Even if it was miserable in its own right, but I just don't like the idea of a 9-to-5 workplace to begin with. And man, this has been a nice change of pace. It's been almost 2.5 years, more than that now, which is awesome. Yeah. So things are going good. That's what I do, and I like to make stuff. Everything and anything.
And all of that started because of a DM.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's correct. I was listening to Making It, which is Bob's podcast that he does with David Pacino and Jimmy DeResta. After a really crappy day at my old job, I was filling gas up at the gas tank, and I had the podcast on, and Bob was mentioning like they were feeling a little stretched thin, and kind of hinted at the idea of hiring somebody. And I was standing there contemplating, like, messaging Bob. Like, this doesn't seem worth my time. But at the same time, like, what, I have nothing to lose. Like,
Had you
what's it
had
gonna
any
do?
correspondence
Not
with
respond?
him before that, or is it just like
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's responded to comments before, and we had a couple short Instagram conversations because I sent a picture of something I made, you know, a while back. But they knew who I was at the time I sent that message. I think there was a weird serendipitous type thing. I gotta talk to him about it again because I can't remember fully, but it sounds like, from what I remember, I had sent the message on Instagram, like saying, "Hey, you were looking for." I can scroll back and find it probably. I know I heard you might be interested in hiring somebody. I'm a video editor. I'm kind of in your area. We had a private conversation a while ago. He had known that we were in the same area because he doesn't really
Right.
broadcast that right now. And he responds saying, like, "Oh yeah, we actually were kind of looking at your stuff. Let's talk about it later." I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like, they had actually gone back and looked at my stuff before I had sent the message.
Wow.
So I was already on their radar somehow, which I don't understand. I say they, it was Bob and Josh. Excuse me. And then after, you know, that initial conversation, Josh messages me privately on Instagram and starts, like, pounding me with questions like, "What's your views on pineapple on pizza?" and silly things like that. So, you know, we just had some conversations, and I did a freelance job because I was kind of moonlighting, doing some freelance work, because ultimately my goal was to have his office job until I got my feet back on the ground, because we had just moved from another state, and from Florida, actually. Look at that. And, you know, move into my freelance business. So, you know, I was taking any gig that I could do on the side. So Bob hired me as a contractor for a shoot, and as kind of like a trial kind of a thing. And then a few days later, he's like, "Oh, you're hired. Let's bring you on." And then a month later, I was working full time at I Like to Make Stuff. It was so fun, turning my 2 weeks. I had a good relationship with my immediate supervisor. He was cool. He hated the job too, but, you know, he needed the money and he did a good job at what he did.
Right.
And he knew I was, you know, probably on the verge of quitting whenever the opportunity arose. So I walked in. We had just finished for having time off from Christmas. It was like the day after New Year's. I'm like, "Happy New Year's, I quit." And I slapped my letter on his desk. He thought it was the funniest thing ever. It felt so good. And he totally saw it coming. It was great. Oops. Got an alarm going
How
on.
was your you were married at the time, right? Like, how was your
Yeah.
wife's, like, reaction to, like, this internet job? Like, I'm sure, was that, like, different?
She had made a joke a long time ago about, like, you watched another video of your boyfriend or something stupid like that, because I was on, like, an I Like to Make Stuff kick,
Uh-huh.
and I was a big fan of what Bob did, and
Right.
like, saw some subtle things in the videos that I could relate to or whatever. But no, she's been super incredibly supportive, and she's always known that I've been kind of creative and different as far as my ambitions go, and, like, I don't like to miss opportunities. So, you know, if I see a chance at opportunity, I'm gonna move that direction. And she's been with me when I've taken the risks, and yeah, has been really supportive of that, which is awesome. And, you know, she thinks this is crazy that I have some weird job making videos on the internet, but she's become good friends with Bob and his family, and Josh and his family, and all that kind of stuff. And we're all kind of a little community here now.
It's cool.
So yeah, it's pretty wild, but I'm really thankful with where I've ended up. And as a wonderful side effect, I've got to meet people like you guys through events like Maker Fairs and Workbench Cons and things like that. And it's been like it was like drinking from a water hose at first.
Yeah.
Because not only did I get to work for this guy I knew about on the internet and become friends, it opened this door of opportunity for me to meet this giant community of makers and actually become friends with a lot of these people, some that I had known about, some that I didn't. And it's been so, this COVID pandemic would have been so much different had I not had this community of makers around me. Because I was stuck at home, and we had Discord servers and things like that, and we were able to all stay in touch.
Yeah, Minecraft servers.
Yeah,
Minecraft
you
servers.
especially were involved in that. yeah, so the maker community is a really wonderful community of people, and I never want to not be a part of it. No.
Man, so when we had breakfast with you at Maker
Yeah.
Faire, that was like right after you started working for
Yeah.
Bob, right?
Yeah,
Like
kind of.
literally right after.
Yeah, let's see. Was that 2019? Yeah, because
Yeah.
2020 didn't happen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I started that January. So I was so excited. I was like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to meet this person, and this person, and this person. I was like particularly excited to meet Evan and Caitlin, and there we are having breakfast with them.
Yeah.
And things like that.
That was a good
Yeah,
breakfast.
yeah, it was fun. But then I got introduced to people that I didn't know anything about. So like 3D printing was so new to me at that time. And like Josh is like, hey, meet my buddy Joel over here. He's got a channel called the 3D Printing Nerd, and the dude is like just a big teddy bear of love. Joel is awesome. And to this day, we stay in touch. You know, we send each other little messages back and forth on Instagram occasionally, and it's been a while since we've chatted, but like, it's you know that connection is there, and it's really cool. But man, it's just neat. That's just one example of many people. Like we're walking down, and this guy says, "Hey, Josh, how's it going?" It's Ben Ueda all the way over there. I'm like, hey, I recognize him from the internet. He knows who you are. That's cool. So, yeah, it's such a cool group of people, and I really hope Maker Fairs are kind of back in full swing. Maker Faire took like a double hit.
Yeah.
You know, right after that, they kind of like shut everything down, and then rebranded and kind of rehired some people, but.
Right, they're gonna be.
COVID-
We're back this
COVID
year,
kind of-
2020. This is our year. We're gonna start up fresh. We're gonna have Maker Fairs again. You can subscribe to our new magazine. It's the old Form Factor. We got the band back together. It's gonna be awesome. Like everything shut. Yeah, I felt
It was a
pretty
bummer.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a local Maker Faire though, in Louisville later that year, and Dale Daughtery, who's the founder of Make, is from Louisville, and he was just at this little mini Maker Faire and just hanging out. And I see him chatting with Bob. I'm like, oh, hey, that's like, whoa, that's a big deal. He's here. And it was the first year this Maker Faire was happening, and it was relatively small compared to going to San Mateo, but it was cool. Another little nugget of awesomeness of the maker community. Sometimes you don't realize how close and tight knit it is until we all get to hang out in person, and that'll happen again soon.
Yeah.
And Workbench Con was
Or
a lot of
how
fun too.
welcoming.
Yeah, that was right before all the crap hit the fan.
Yep.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, and you never know when someone might need a room at 1:30 in the morning.
Oh my gosh. Should we talk about
we should
that?
Tell that
was
story.
fun.
Yeah.
Josh snores. So
The end.
I almost went to the Isotunes booth and bought earplugs.
So you were rooming with Josh at Workbench Con.
Yeah, let me back up a little bit. Josh
Yeah.
and I were sharing a hotel room. It's not the first time we've shared a hotel room or a space at an event. But he's just a loud snore, and I'm not used to sleeping next to a snore, although apparently I do snore, according to my wife. But we don't have to go there. But I'm not used to it. And I didn't have earplugs. I had these like studio monitor headphones because they're great for airplanes. But like, my goal was to always fall asleep before Josh, because if I get asleep before Josh, then I could just sleep through the noise. But if anything woke me up, I was done for. And I was trying to seize the opportunities of seeing all these people, because I knew, like, all these people being in one place at one time only happen, once or twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that didn't happen after Workbench Con because it happened at the beginning of 2020. So I stayed up late each night during those social times, down by the bar, just getting to know more people and networking and just having a good time hanging out with a bunch of awesome friends. So I was obviously really tired. But we were getting ready to travel home, and it was, I can't remember which night it was, but basically I was exhausted, but I couldn't sleep, driving me nuts. I sent you a message, right? I was like,
yeah, you're probably not up, but
yeah. Why did I ask you for help? Did
I don't know. I think we were just.
Because it's West.
Yeah, I guess that's probably why.
Was it on Discord? I think it might have been on Discord or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly, but
I was out of it, but like I needed. It was like I needed to sleep, but I couldn't.
Yeah, somehow you saw my status was I was awake or something. You're like, hey, you're awake.
Yeah.
And then
I was just
You up?
if you got an extra
Yeah,
bed in
you
your
up?
room or
It's
something.
1 a.m. Yeah.
So many people were still up, like having the time of their lives downstairs too. But man, I was ready to check out because
Oh,
it
yeah.
was day 2 or 3. So anyway, through a weird. So Wes didn't have an extra bed in his room.
Nope. I had a roommate
but-
already. Yep.
Yeah, so I, through your weird connections, was sleeping in literally an empty room by myself for that night.
Yeah, somehow, like, I had heard in a conversation that was, like, adjacent to me, like, Izzy Swan was talking about having an extra room for somebody on his, like, crew or something that didn't show up or something like that. So that nugget of information kind of stuck in the back of my head, and I didn't, like, intentionally save it. It was just there. And then when you mentioned it, I'm like, oh, there's a pairing that could work out. So I went down to the lobby at like 1:30 in the morning, and Izzy's of course down there talking to people, and I pulled him to the side for a second. I'm like, hey, Anthony from I Like to Make Stuff. He's like, oh yeah, Anthony, yeah. I'm like, yeah, he's like super dead tired. He knew of you, enough
That's
to
cool.
give you a room, basically. Like he's
awesome.
he needs to go to sleep. He's not able to sleep in the room he's in. Is that room still available or whatever? He's like, yeah, here's the key. And so I went and checked out the room to make sure there wasn't like a dead hobo or something in there first before I like pushed you in there, and it was fine. So then I just went to your room and like, here you go, buddy. And you were just like, you had like this like wasted look. Yeah, you're just like completely spent, and you're just like, all right, yeah. And I kind of like led you to the elevator, and like, you just follow me. You don't have to like push any buttons or anything. You know?
I feel like I was dragging a blanket behind me like a
Yeah,
toddler.
it was like Linus or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And like I literally had not met Izzy yet. I knew who he was.
Yeah.
But man, I don't even think I had a chance to tell him thank you. So Izzy, if you listen to this, thank you for letting me have your spare room. That was a big help.
It's one big family. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, turn it all back around. It was
Yep.
all one big maker family. It's funny. You didn't really give me much detail. You just showed up at my door like, I got a room for you.
Right.
And then kind of.
Well, you were too tired to even like process any details, so that's why I didn't go into it.
So
You're like, what? You have a room? Okay, sure. All right. I'll see you in the morning.
It's like, just give me whatever you got. Although it was hard for me to fall asleep for a little bit because I was like, I don't know whose room this is exactly. I think I knew it was Izzy was involved. I was really worried that like I was waiting for the door to open. Somebody's gonna come in and be like, "What's this dude doing in my room?" And then I got over it and fell asleep.
Right.
And woke up to an empty room. It was great. So thank you, Wes and Izzy, for saving my life. I will probably not be alive to this. I'm just kidding. Yeah,
sorry about all the room service that I ordered that morning. Yeah.
It's not surprising because for anybody that knows Wes at all understands that he is like the glue that like binds everybody in this community together. It is insane how many connections he has to just everything and everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
So that doesn't surprise. That story does not surprise me.
There's a little bit. I think you got a little bit of magic inside of you, Wes. I don't know what it is, but that's not the first time that I've seen something cool worked out like that by you or with you involved.
Well, I try.
Cool.
I try. I'm not Jim Henson.
Nice.
I don't have that much magic in me, but I like to think maybe a little. I don't know.
You're close.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, it was fun. We'll get to do that again someday.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well,
cross my fingers. Yeah.
Are you planning on going to Workbench Con this year? I mean, not this year, but like this upcoming.
I mean,
yes.
Pending pandemic issues, we'll most likely go. I personally really want to, but I have a feeling that there will definitely be some I Like to Make Stuff involvement at that next event. We're itching to get out and do stuff, but we're also, striving to be safe. So,
yeah, we tried to get you out a couple weeks ago when Donovan and Sean came out here, but Josh, the stars didn't quite align perfectly then, but
mainly because it was a little too last minute, and my wife had just started a new nursing job here in town, and so she was working full time, and I was watching the kids. But I also ended up getting sick during that weekend, worse than how I feel right now. This is like round 2, which sucks, but like I would have been absolutely miserable if I was there, and probably gotten everybody else sick.
Yeah. Well,
It wasn't
good.
COVID though. I found that out.
That's
It
good.
still sucked.
Yeah.
But I do really want to come out there and hang out. Hopefully this fall. I'm kind of working with Kinsey and her work schedule.
Yeah. That'd be
Trying
cool.
to see what we can do. This will be fun. I want to see that part of the maker community.
Yeah, it'd be
It's
sweet.
really hard to get that sentence out
But
of my mouth
then
for some reason.
Wes may have his own makerspace.
I know, right?
I mean,
And then I
you're
will
right.
never want to leave.
He keeps talking about this ethereal thing happening like it's not solid
Yeah.
in any way, but a couple weeks ago it was just an inkling of a thought and of an idea, and then now they're looking
Yeah.
at space. It's moving pretty quick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's scary.
I mean,
yeah.
there's also a theme of makers moving to
Right.
that area. But Raleigh is
Yep.
the nearest big city, right?
Yeah. mhm.
Yeah. Seems like, well, I mean, Apple is going to be there soon, so
They
that's
are.
cool.
Yep. Yeah, prices of
Right
houses
exactly.
jumped like a huge percentage when they announced that day, because Nicole and Turi were looking for a house that week
Yeah.
that announced, and they're like, "Oh, this is hard now." It was already
Yeah.
hard before that, but it made it a lot more difficult. But
Man,
yeah,
Donovan, you missed your chance.
I know, right?
It's a beautiful area out there, too.
I was only in the spot to spend $500,000 on a
right.
1,000 square foot
right.
home. I'd jump on
That's
that.
like California real estate,
I know.
minus
Yes.
some square feet.
It's terrible though, because it's like we went out and we had the maker meetup at his place, and if it wasn't for the fact that where he lives is so cool and like charming and like pedestrian friendly, which you don't think would be a big thing, but living in a place that isn't pedestrian friendly and then going to a place that is pedestrian friendly, it's a world of difference.
Yeah.
And the temperature was fantastic, and like there were trees and there wasn't too many people, and it was just, I hated how much I
Jeez.
liked about
You hated how much you liked it
where
here.
West. Yes, I hated how much I liked it there, because I'm like, dang it, now I want to live here. Dang it.
Well, I
So,
mean, that
get
is
that.
that would be a cool ultimate goal, is to have like, and like there's a maker like nexus where you guys are, Anthony, which I kind of just, and it's, could be growing more and more at any time, I'm sure. That'd be kind of it's like a hub of creativity in one spot there, and I think it's cool to have like localized areas that,
Yeah.
I mean, if you get other people of like mind, like more and more in this area or whatever the area is,
Mhm.
just concentrations of makers locally, like
Yeah.
only good things can happen out of that, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, we have a couple other
Mhm.
pretty successful content creators in this town.
Yeah, yeah.
Not even just like in, Kentucky, but in this town that we are in, which is
Mhm.
really cool. So maybe we should start a race.
Right.
I would put that responsibility on somebody else, because we've got so much going on, and I like to make stuff right now that, adding that to our plate would, I mean, we would love to be involved in something like that, absolutely. But we'll see.
Oh my gosh. It's probably some secret plan somewhere happening in the background.
I don't know. No comment.
I would not be surprised at all. So, being a filmmaker, I do have to ask some questions.
Okay.
So,
Ask
like,
me.
what inspires you to be like, in terms of like being a filmmaker? Like, what kind of stuff inspires you?
Like to create video content, or
Yeah.
just in general?
Yeah, say like you're in a lull or whatever. You're like, I want to be inspired
Yeah.
to go create content. Like,
Yeah.
what inspires you to create content?
First thing I do is I listen to music. That's a huge, like,
What do you listen
jumping
to?
off point. Anything and everything, whatever I'm in the mood for. I'm on a big, like if it's got a nice pocket, I'm into it. So right now, like, jazz fusion is where my brain is at. So if it's really groovy, has nice, drum and bass lines, and just like if it makes you move, I'm into it. But also sometimes I'll go listen to movie soundtracks, or just some orchestral stuff, and just kind of see where it takes my brain. Or if I'm like feeling a little melancholy, I'll actually like exploit that a little bit and listen to some sadder sounding yet inspiring music, and just kind of see where that takes my brain. And while I'm not acting on making short films right now, I'll start noting down script ideas or writing a script or something like that if I have the time. It hasn't been a ton of that with the house renovations, but I do have a handful of, digital notebooks of just ideas that I vomit into. But yeah, music is a big one for me. But sometimes, I'll see architecture that inspires me, or landscapes is really big. I have a nice, like, I don't know, there's something about design in buildings that is really attractive to my eye. I don't know why, but that's really cool. So that'll sometimes take me somewhere. Sometimes that'll take me down a maker path or a filmmaking path, or they'll converge somewhere. A lot of times I'll see something and I'll jump into Fusion and start modeling something, and that might turn into a video idea rather than a maker idea. But like, I'm in such an interesting place now where I have the urge to make, and sometimes it's a physical thing and sometimes it's an idea for a video. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of where I am right now with what inspires me. It kind of changes. Sometimes it's food. Sometimes I'll just see a cool YouTube video that makes me go, I could do that. Or how do I take that idea and make it my own?
Mm-hmm.
That was a little more generic, but I mean, you
No,
get
it works. Generic or not, what inspires you inspires you. You can't fault somebody for being inspired by something generic.
Yeah, I mean, what art isn't inspired? Like, it's got to start somewhere. Like
what made you want to be a filmmaker in the first place?
Probably my grandmother giving me her half-broken camera when I was in elementary school. I don't know, second or third, maybe fourth grade. She had this Sony Handycam that she recorded everybody's home videos with. She was actually really good about recording home videos. She's the only person in the family that really had a camcorder up until maybe the mid 2000s. But it was this Sony Handycam with the, the high 8 cassette tape.
Yep.
And I remember she's always showing up at Christmas. They made their rounds every Christmas to all the grandkids' houses. They would show up at birthdays and stuff like that. And we'd pass the camera around too to different families in the family and use it. So that thing got tons and tons of use. And then cameras started becoming more affordable, and all the other families ended up getting their own. Hers ended up breaking. And I learned you could take the red, yellow, and white cables and plug them into the TV and plug them into the camera, and you could see yourself. Well, that's cool. I can see what I'm doing even though the viewfinder broke off. And you push the red button, it still records. I'm like, that's great. So I went to my grandparents' house almost every weekend and spent the night there, and had a really good have a really good relationship. They're still alive to this day, which is a huge blessing. But yeah, that was over there every weekend, and sometimes me and my friends would spend the night there. And this camera was on a tripod by the TV, and we would just turn on the TV, push record button, record silly sketches, do dumb things like this and that, and have a good time. And I still have all of that somewhere. And
that's cool.
Good Lord, am I glad the internet and YouTube, the internet existed, but YouTube did not exist yet, because man, there'd be a lot of awkward, embarrassing stuff out there that I would have posted. But eventually I got my own little digital video camera, this awful Apetech branded piece of trash. It wasn't even great for its time. It took this compact flash card. Let's see, this was middle school. And me and my buddy Jordan were shooting these silly videos in his backyard. We're making our own version of MXC. Us getting hurt in the backyard, trying to jump over crap and jump into tire swings and light stuff on fire and all sorts of great stuff. And I'm like, there's this thing on your computer called Windows Movie Maker. What's that? And pop the card in, and it's like, whoa, you can like put titles and music and make it do stuff. Is this how they do it on TV? And I just started learning how to edit. And then a couple years later, and maybe even just like a year or so later, I had a drama teacher in middle school who kind of saw that I was into making videos, and she gave me a bootleg copy of Sony Vegas, which I loathe to this day. But it was an awesome start. It was a great piece of software, and I started like putting my videos on the computer. And then my parents got me a DV camera, a little mini DV camcorder, which you it still uses tape, but it's digitally captured via FireWire, and it's like, wow, this is amazing quality. It looks awesome. And I would make videos of our vacations.
480p.
Yeah. Interlaced. Awesome.
Yes.
And like we were getting to the time where HD TVs and CRTs were kind of all in everybody's houses, and you had your flat screen CRTs and you had your flat panel plasmas, and so video formats were just a nightmare. Like, why do they have all that weird lines? Anyway, well, my sister and I would make dumb videos of us jumping on the trampoline, or I would capture our vacation, but I would take that footage home and edit it. And then I started doing things like shooting videos for my cross-country team that actually got played places. I started making videos for church that actually got played in front of audiences. And I started learning the meaning behind this, and that it makes people happy, and people enjoy, kids love seeing themselves on big screens, and people love their memories captured in a way that's not, annoying, because, pardon me, we'll edit that out, right?
Of course.
Sure.
Yeah. We'll edit out the nasty cough. I would force my family to watch videos that I made, and they hated them. Like extended family gatherings were like, oh, so dumb, and you're loud and obnoxious and young and middle school and whatever. But as I learned to edit and move on, like whenever we had a large family gathering, there was always a point where my parents were like, hey, plug in the camera and let them see the thing you edited. To the point where my family was enjoying watching these videos I made, whether it was like a vacation recap or a vacation Bible school promo video or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I should probably go to film school. Thought about it for a little while, and went through high school, did broadcasting class in high school, which was kind of a joke, but it let me make videos at school. I definitely learned I did not want to get into broadcast journalism real quick, and I'm glad I did not take that path. There was a brief moment when I thought I had a career owning a Chick-fil-A, but we don't have to go there. Great place. I loved working there. It definitely built a lot of character in me, but there was a year I took off before I went to school, tried the community college thing, didn't really work out. I was like, I want to go there. And this is when I found out about Palm Beach Atlantic. Like, they have a film school. It's in Florida. We used to vacation there all the time. I was actually born in that city where that school is. Let's do it. And my parents were like, you can't do that. That's a private school. It's going to be expensive. But we found a way, and I went. And did I learn much there technically? Not really. I actually had a lot of the knowledge of how to video edit and shoot already. I had progressed to the world of DSLRs and cameras that have different lenses, and the science behind why this lens looks this way versus why this lens looks that way. But what I did learn at school was more storytelling and how to apply these technical skills to bringing stories to life, which kind of ignited a new passion for the actual art of it. Not just like, it's really cool to plug this thing in your computer and make it do stuff. And this is kind of when the maker inside of me started to show up, I guess. And I started to learn how to tell stories, and I got to know more people and realized like there's a much larger world out there, because I was, a small town Kentucky kid up until this point. And realized how uncultured I was. Good grief. Growing up in a small town, white America kind of a place. I'm so glad I went out and, met people from other places. Sure. And learned from their life experiences. It was awesome. And that, again, inspired more stories. And I met my wife there, and kind of moved on, and had this inspired to make videos and wanted to turn it into a living. And while I was, wanting to tell these stories, I also wanted to keep making things that were tangible, that I could touch with my hands. And that's about the time I discovered I like to make stuff. And that's when filmmaking and making kind of became one. Mm-hmm. And this was 5 years ago at this point. So that's like, filmmaking is, as I feel like I just explained my life story to you, has been a big part of my life for a long time. And that's kind of how I got to where I am today. What was the original question?
Why do you like cheeseburgers?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Because they taste good, and I like ketchup.
What are your thoughts of pineapple on pizza?
Blech.
Let's see. Let me see if I can find this conversation. Whoa, my light turned on. find this conversation between me and Josh. I just remember him saying that my answer was very diplomatic. I think I told him I was neutral.
You're Switzerland. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll eat a pineapple on a pizza. I'm not going to get all butthurt about it like the internet wants you to be. But I probably won't order it. I'll eat pineapple and ham, but yeah. What are you wanting to say, Wes? You look like you were about to whisper something, or are you just scratching your nose? Or are you getting butthurt about pineapple on pizza?
No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, that was it. I don't really care one way or the other. I'll eat it. I like pizza. Pizza's good. I don't like olives on pizza or any kind of like creature from water. Anchovies.
Oh my gosh. Octopus.
Yeah. Any kind of meat, I'm good. Like if there's a meat lovers option at wherever pizza joint I'm going to, that's probably what I'm going to get. Vegetables, unless it's the tomato in the sauce, probably what I'm going for. Might get a little crazy with an egg.
An egg on a pizza?
I remember eating at a pizza place in New York that had like a cracked fried egg right in the middle of the pizza. It was forever ago. It was good. Yeah.
Interesting. Breakfast pizza. There's a bajillion other questions that I could and would want to ask you, but we're already over an hour. Should we go to geeking out?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sorry I talked so long. That was actually
that was great.
That was a fun journey.
I mean, this was the Anthony podcast. We were here to talk about you, so
that was really fun. Thank you for letting me talk.
Yeah.
So usually what we do about this time is we talk about things that we're geeking out about, and it could be anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
I'll go first.
My turn. Okay.
Unless if you got something in the chamber, go for it. Otherwise, like I'm sure Wes has got something.
I got a handful of things that I think I'm geeking out about, but I'll let y'all go first. I gotta distill it.
Has anybody else? We won't talk spoilers, but has anybody else watched What If yet?
Oh, not yet. No.
I watched it right before this, just so I'd be ready, just in case we were talking about What If.
I'm not prepared.
I wanted to be prepared.
I want to like go back and watch a lot of the older Marvel movies and kind of like remind myself what happened.
It's so good. Yeah.
It is really good.
Yeah. Yes.
It's so self-referential. It's not even funny. But
it absolutely is. But that's part of the mechanic, though.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. The humor, it's really good.
Yeah, they actually figure out a way to explain how they can be self-referential and actually make it, because you're pointing. You're like, as you're the viewer or the watcher, you're picking up on things how they are slightly different than what you remembered, and like if you didn't have those memories or didn't watch the other content, it's not like you're completely missing out on the point of the video, but you're like getting another layer slathered in there that you wouldn't have otherwise, and it's pretty satisfying.
You almost ripped my arm off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna smile at that.
So many jokes like that.
I gotta watch it now. That sounds amazing.
Yes, it's wonderful.
If you like cell shaded artwork, you will love this. If you don't like cell shaded artwork, you probably won't love this.
I would disagree with that.
Really?
Catherine doesn't really,
because people
she doesn't seek out animation like that, but the artwork is so, like, the characters are rendered in such a pseudo-realistic way is in terms of, like, they don't look like a caricature. They do look like their cartoon version, like a variant of what they look like in the movie. Yeah, so there's it's not much of a stretch.
So good.
Yes. So, yeah.
It's very...
But it's a polarizing topic for some people.
Yeah.
Cell shading. So.
I have a soft spot for animation. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
So you're geeking out about it, What If?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm geeking out about a movie that's apparently kind of old. It's not old. It's like 2014. I don't know. But I am making some this is gonna sound ridiculous. Cardboard dioramas of my shop and me and my kids, because the style of my videos is getting way different, and we're gonna have little sections that are gonna be in cardboard, some of them that are gonna be animated, some like just way different. I'm having so much fun with it. But I came across a movie called Dave Built a Maze.
Huh. I've never heard of that.
That it's an indie film. So go into it knowing that it's it's an indie
Right.
film. But
Like
what it
Birdemic.
is, the premise is that this girl comes back to her apartment and finds a cardboard maze in the living room that her boyfriend, who's like starving artist, wants to figure out what to do with his life, built over the weekend while she was gone. And the problem is this maze has like taken on a mind of its own, and it's like the TARDIS. Once you step inside, it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. So the entire movie takes place inside this cardboard maze, and everything's made of cardboard. And it's so good. I geeked out so hard about this movie because the humor is really funny. They have parts where they like go down a tube and they turn into like paper bag puppets, and like they're running through like the maze as paper bag puppets. There's like quote unquote gory scenes, but all the gore is like paper mache and cardboard. It's hilarious. It does have a little bit of language in it, but other than that, it is a fantastic movie. If you're okay with more artsy style films or independent films, it is a great movie, especially if you're in the middle of making a little diorama of your own shop and you with your kids and whatnot to use in future YouTube videos. So I'm geeking out about Dave Built a Maze.
Dave Built a Maze. I googled that. I'm gonna put that in my watch list because it sounds fun to watch. It sounds like one that I'll watch by myself, but it sounds fun to watch.
It's only like an hour long. It's not very long, but
Cool.
it's a fantastic watch.
Sweet. Okay, so I guess it's my turn now.
Yep.
I got two. I boiled it down to two things: a TV show and just like a topic. So I've been gathering a strong interest lately in. Well, I've always loved retro video games, but lately, Game Boy modding and like retrofitting and all that kind of stuff. I just heard my son make a noise. Sorry. I did not realize how massive of a community and how many resources there were to take your old Nintendo handhelds and basically modernize them or just breathe new life into them. So you can get IPS display mods and, take your old DMG Game Boy, which is, the original gray Game Boy with the magenta buttons, give it a nice, bright, vibrant, backlit display. But it still has all the original internal hardware, other than a few things you swapped out, obviously, that plays the original games. Now it's not, it's still monochrome, but you can push the contrast button in and make the color palettes change and do all that kind of stuff. But I'm itching to take my old Game Boy Advance, not the SP, the original, and pop a IPS display in that thing and breathe some new life into that. I put many hours of Mario Kart and Super Mario World, and never really played Pokemon until more recently. But yeah, I just want to relive some childhood glory, but not have to awkwardly sit under the lamp to play it.
I
awesome.
know, right?
Yeah. I want to pick up another original Game Boy because I'm afraid to crack open like a really good. I have a really good condition original Game Boy over there. I don't want to crack
Bust
that
out
open
your
and break something.
3-pronged screwdriver.
I've got a couple.
Yeah?
Yeah. I recently got a Dreamcast too, which is a whole different story, but I guess that falls into the retro game category. So that could be a whole episode. And then the TV show that I am geeking out about is called The Dragon Prince on Netflix. I don't know if any of y'all have seen that.
Same style animation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's one of those where you get it. I love it that it's original. It's written by some of the people that were involved with the creation of Avatar: Last Airbender, which I'm a huge nerd over that. I love that.
So good.
But yeah, The Dragon Prince, it got me hooked when the first season came out a couple years ago, because it's a new world, it's a new set of characters, it's a new set of rules, it's a really cool, fun fantasy. It's family friendly, but we didn't have kids when we started. We had kids when we started watching it. But I mean, our kids aren't even old enough to kind of understand this
Not
show
that you
yet.
need the excuse.
it's not a show. Like it's so good. And there's even some fun references to Avatar, but because the main character is voiced by Jack DeSena, who voices Sokka in Avatar. So there's some fun little Easter eggs thrown in there, but unique, cell shaded animation style. You got magic and dragons, you got elves and humans, and you've got love and murder and all the good stuff. But the reason I am extra geeking out about that is the main elf character, her name is Rayla, has her, her weapons, the blades. I modeled them in Fusion, and I'm working on 3D printing those. Actually,
gosh, that would be so cool.
Downstairs right now. I started them forever ago, and they're sitting with Bondo on them, waiting to be sanded. But I decided now that I have the CNC, I may try to mill the blades out of aluminum. Because
oh my god,
the spray painting the 3D printed parts with the silver spray paint does not look that great.
Yeah,
it looked great from a distance if you're squinting, but if I could just get a block of aluminum.
You do the whole Bondo Plastidip Prime paint.
So
7 layers.
Not that many. I've done filler primer, Bondo, sanding, Bondo, paint.
Wow.
Yeah. That's just for the handles. The blades they're struggling.
My kids and I, we found duct tape works really well as long as you're patient with applying it and don't have a lot of creases.
Yeah.
It's passable. It's not great.
Duct tape art is a real
way better than like the silver spray paint. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I think I didn't have a CNC when I started the project, and honestly didn't think I'd have one for a while. But now that I have one that can easily shoot through some aluminum, I think it'd just be super dope to make those things out of aluminum. They're not going to cut anything. I don't want them to be sharp, but I probably need to make the handles a little more weighty too. They'll be off balance. I don't know,
Gosh,
but man, I love that thing. That's such a fun project. I think I'd like to eventually get my family to cosplay one Halloween as all the characters from that. It'd be pretty cool. So, Dragon Prince. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a really fun watch.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Is this me or you, Wes?
Either one.
Are you
I'm doing the same thing right now. Do I need to hold my hands
Yes.
like this? There we go.
During this time of the show, we like to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/makinggeeks for helping us keep the lights on here at the show with their contributions. We appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are awesome. Including our top patrons, Square Splinter, Clinton, and Jordan. You all are awesome. We appreciate each and every one of you for your support. Thanks.
I know Clinton. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
I miss him. I miss you. Tell him I said that. I'm sure he listens. He's a patron.
He's in the chat.
I can't see the chat right now.
You can tell him directly.
I miss you, Clint.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't see the chat. I'm afraid to open up the stream while we're recording because I don't want to break my internet. Haven't gotten fiber yet.
I get it. Yet. But if you want to contact us as a podcast, as a he says woohoo. But if you want to contact us, our podcast, if you have recommendations for the show, recommendations for topics or a guest that we could have on the show, go ahead and go to the website at makinggeeks.com. You can also find Making Geeks on social media like Instagram. But individually, if you want to check our own individual works out and what we're doing, Anthony, you can find at Anthony Films Stuff, right? Mm-hmm. With an S. Yep. Wes, you can find at Geeksmithing, and myself, you can find at Once Upon a Workbench.
We'd like to thank everybody in the YouTube chat for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you so much for your participation. It would not be the same without you. Thanks, Anthony.
Are you the one responding to Wes? To
yeah,
the chat?
Yeah. Usually I respond,
yeah.
But it's kind of a tight rope to balance on because I have a mechanical keyboard and usually I use my other mic, which is like uber sensitive, and even like so I have a bone to pick with these like blue microphones. They're so nice, right? Which I'm not using currently for this current one. So the mute button is like it's got a clicky sound like this. So when you hit it, it actually gets the click from the button in the recording before it mutes it. Like, what idiot would design that? Why couldn't it just be like a capacitive touch kind of thing, like those old lamps your grandmother used to have that you barely
Those
touch
things
it
are
and it turns
awesome.
off. Why can't they have that to activate the meat? Why does that have to be a physical toggle switch that
Oh,
it's just irritating?
Voice activated.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, Anthony. It was great to have you.
It's fun to be here. I'd love to do it again. I have to invite myself back on, but
Yeah,
that's great.
Yes,
I know
yes,
Sean would like
please,
to
and
talk
thank
to you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean, sorry you couldn't be here, buddy. Missed you.
We can even make an excuse out of it to have another game night. Just saying.
Ooh. I like it.
Sounds good.
We have also had a run
Or
on
if we ever
having
want to do like a go ahead.
So his internet is a little bit delayed, I think, and so like every time I keep talking, it seems like I'm not talking. So there's
That Midwest internet.
we still have to like hand signal each other or something. Yeah, what I was gonna say, we used to have this year we had a run of like when we had a guest on, we would have like a cameo or a reoccurring like kind of thing. Like they would come back on within a short period of time to do like something that's not about them, but they're still involved, like a game or
Oh, nice.
like a spoiler cast or what have you. So
Ooh. Okay.
yeah, another excuse to get back on here.
Nice. I'm in. Right now, right?
Yeah,
Next
we'll
episode.
pencil it. Wait, we've thrown off my groove. I don't know where we're at now. Thank you, everybody. We love your face. Come see us next time, next Thursday at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern time.
Yes.
Otherwise known as
And-
real time.
Yes, and of course, the podcast comes out every Saturday on your podcast player of choice. And so, from all of us to all of you, have a fantastic week.
See ya.
Bye.
That work?
Yep, that worked.
We out.